What's up, everybody? This is an introduction to my first ever vlog, okay? And the reason why I'm doing this is because when I started this vlog, it's supposed to be about my spiritual journey, right? The beginning. What I didn't know at the beginning of this recording was how much that story truly encompassed. And actually, it catapulted this amazing opportunity into various topics that will give me great content later. But, and here's the thing, I almost scrapped doing this whole video. I almost scrapped this video completely that you're just about to watch. And I decided to still share it because it still has a lot of great information about who I am in the beginning of my journey. What I didn't expect was that as I started to share the story that I would have so many memories and really just understanding that this video is bigger than just one video. Right? This story cannot be encompassed into one video unless I'm willing to give myself hours, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather just, share what I know. So I decided to still post this video because of that, because it still holds a lot of great information. It still shows you something about me. I think the thing was that it seems like it's all over the place, but I wouldn't even say that it's all over the place. That's not the right way I want to put it. I just think that it made for a good video. It just particularly didn't end up being the video I imagined. With that being said, I'm going to let y'all tune in. I'm going to let y'all check it out. Okay, but this is my disclaimer, and you may say, Dayna, no need for a disclaimer, but I am so amped about this new channel and this new video and just me sharing this kind of information, and I want things to be perfect, so just let me be me, right? Enjoy the video. Take it for what it is. Know that more is coming. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into it.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is your girl, Dayna Patreace, aka the Black Fairy. Welcome to Black Fairy Tales. This is my vlog channel, and today I want to share with you guys my personal spiritual journey story, which is not in any way complete, but I kind of want to tell you guys how I got here, how this Dayna Patreace came into being, how the Black Fairy was kind of born, I guess. And it's been a very, very long journey. It has been. When I think back, it's been probably about, I'd say 15 years on this journey of really trying to find myself and understand myself and really trying to open my mind to different perspectives. And the more that I learned, the more that I had to explore. And even now, I'm still like that. I'm still exploring myself. I'm still finding myself. But I definitely know a lot more about myself right now than I did back then. You know what I'm saying? I definitely have healed a lot more. I've been accountable for a lot more. I needed to recognize a lot of things from within myself. And when I think back to like how this started and who I am and who I want to become, I just thought I'd share this story with y'all. I think it's a good story to tell. I think it will give you a lot of understanding about who I am and, create a bond between the both of us, because I'm honestly out here looking for like-minded individuals like me. I want more of my soul tribe. I want more like-minded individuals. And the best way to find like-minded individuals is to enable yourself to, show yourself. How are people supposed to find you if you're hidden, if you're tucked away, you know? So this is a big step for me. This is a big step for me. And I didn't want to write anything down. I'm just, going to freestyle this video and edit it later. So we'll see what makes it and what does not, right? But let's get into it. Like I said, it's been about 15 years. I am 37 years old. It's been more than 15 years because I would say I was around the age of 25 when I first started exploring myself and trying to understand myself. And that is the beginning of your journey. And some people will, I feel, may think that it starts, once maybe they change practices or leaving religion or something like that. But I think the moment that you start to think to yourself, who am I? What am I doing? Especially if you're not happy, right? And you're just like, why is my life like this? Why aren't I where I want to be? Why do I feel this way? Trying to even understand why maybe others couldn't love me the way that I felt like I was loving them, right? So, and I want to say that that was the beginning of it, but honestly, a memory just flashed into my head, and I'd probably have to say my first spiritual awakening was probably when The Craft came out. I'll have to find out the year and age that I was, but I was obsessed with that movie. I'm talking about gathering with my friends in the woods, like,
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the East, the powers of air and invention. Hear me!
hail to the guardian clock towers! Hail Mano! Honestly, I went on this whole coven thing with my friends, and I can say some real things happened, but I digress. That story is not this story, right? But that's when I first dabbled and got intrigued into magic, right? And now I truly understand what magic is, and that was through self-exploration, and again, really truly trying to understand myself. Over the years, I had dabbled back in and out of it. I think even prior to my second awakening, that I call it, when I was about 25 years old, and I was ready to really look at myself. I remember I bought a book named Emotional Freedom, and I can't recall the name of the authoress right now, but I saw it, and the way that it had me question myself, I knew I had to read it. I had to know more because, like I said, I can't tell you right now, I don't have that book anymore. I lent it to a friend at the time, and they lent it to a friend, and, it's doing its thing out in the universe. But it was an amazing book. I actually, just thinking about it now, I'll probably will reorder that book and reread it just to see it from this perspective at this age, being so long, right? But that book made me explore myself. Emotional freedom. It made me see the ways that I had trapped myself in my own life. And I really started to focus on who I am, who I wanted to be. And I was nowhere near those things. At 25, I believe I was hopping from couch to couch. Pretty much homeless, and I can say that now because I've turned around so much. I have so much to be grateful for because it was me planting those seeds of recognition of really trying to find myself and really trying to understand why I just couldn't get my shit together, and realizing how much I was carrying in pain and trauma, that I was able to really start to try to even think about how I could change it. The next big event, it's not an event, but the next thing that I attracted into my life was the Law of Attraction movie, The Secret. I watched that movie and I was just my mind was just blown. All these amazing examples of people using their energy, their magic, to manifest everything that they wanted, right? And for the longest time, I could see how I was manifesting the life that I was living even then, right? The life that I was living even then. Now, we're going to take it back. I grew up in a super strict Christian home. Super strict Christian home. I don't know if many of you know this religion. I've heard people call it a cult. I mean, it has cult-esque essences to it, shall we say, to try to be respectful. I understand why people would say that now. But I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. Okay? Seventh-day Adventist, super strict Christian, you know, very, very patriarchal, very, very, as most Christian religions are though, right? But growing up in that space, to even like say that at one point at such a young age I was interested in witchcraft, you have to understand how that messed with me. I was so very secretive about it, and I didn't express it because I knew what it meant to my mother and what it meant to others because of what they believe in regards to witchcraft, right? And so, you know, when I was doing this with my friends, it was a total secret, right? I would never tell. And then, you know, although we made some things happen, okay, we did. Although we did make some things happen, and, you know, I felt like, I guess, you know, the guilt, right, of like, one, enjoying something like candle magic and chanting and, you know, using the elements and being a part of the elements was like, I loved it so much. At that time, I buried it. And I remember I got baptized at the age of 13. And I just decided that I would just, again, you know, I'm supposed to love Jesus Christ. You know, I've strayed. I'm evil. You know, all these planted seeds that have been inside me that I've been told about that sort of thing. Not understanding that everything has light and darkness, and it's how you use your gifts, right? Because we all have them. We just don't all choose to use them. But to pretty much use these gifts, right? So I put it away, went into Christianity, you know, full-fledged. I was born into it. You know, I'd been going to church more than once a week. You know, Seventh-day Adventist, we celebrate the Sabbath. So from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, you're not allowed to do any worldly things. You know, no TV, no movies, no dances, no nothing. Like, you had to be home, you did your Bible verses, you did your lessons, and you went to church the next day. Then, you know, you had lunch, and sometimes it would be a potluck at somebody's house. You know, and then in the evening you go back to church for AY, okay? If you're a Seventh-day Adventist watching this, I know you know about AY, okay? Adventist Youth.
Adventist youth are we, from every land and sea. Together we pray and work and play in happy harmony.
Adventist Youth are we. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, but you know the track. If you're Seventh-day Adventist, and if you don't, you're probably like, what the fuck was that? You don't want to know. But anyways, right? So that was my life, right? Like, to think of coming out of that, it was so hard. It was really, really hard. But honestly, it never really clicked for me in that way. I definitely was in tune with a higher power that I still look at differently now, but I understand where Christianity pulls it from. You know, that source, that energy of someone, you know, being there for me, watching out for me, loving me. I always had a strong connection with angels. I still have a strong connection with angels, right? Just not in the Christian aspects, right? And even that took a lot of exploring, y'all. And that's the thing, like, I explored all of these things. But what made me, I would say, turn completely away from Christianity was what I went through in my teens and in my early 20s, which again is another story. This is about kind of like more how I got here spiritually, right? So I had to let go of a lot. Talking about abuse, assaults, horrible friendships, just because I was looking for love everywhere because I wasn't getting it at home. And that's just some truth, my truth, right? Looking back, I was very broken because I didn't feel that I got the love that I desired from either of my parents. And I was constantly looking for that in other people, right? But going back to even Christianity and its placement in my life, I'd have to say that I always questioned it. It just always seemed so off to me, right? Didn't quite make sense. I didn't like how in one hand God loved me so much, would do anything for me. But that same God would punish me, hurt me, destroy me even, if I were to use the free will he gave me to do something that maybe he didn't agree with, right? I'm here having this human experience. I'm flawed. You made me flawed. You say that's why I'm beautiful. But in the times that I am not perfect, even though you made me imperfect, you would punish me, hurt me, harm me for the way that you created me? It just never made sense. And I just chose to believe that it was a misinterpretation. I always chose to believe what I wanted to believe about it. You know, so when I prayed to angels, I prayed to Jesus, I prayed to God, right? But I always felt like religion wasn't it for me. I did not like being told what to do. I did not like to feel like who I am was a problem. You know what I mean? Fortunately, my mother wasn't as strict as others, I would say. Like, I was able to go to the movies, not on a Friday night, but I was allowed to go to the movies. Well, you know, Tuesdays was the cheap day anyways, right? But I was allowed to go to the movies. I was allowed to play outside after church. I know some kids that didn't even get to go play outside. My mom felt like if I'm playing outside, not in front of the TV, like enjoying nature, that was in me enjoying the Sabbath. I'm enjoying, you know, what God created. Like, why would I keep her inside away from other children, you know, and they're just playing, having fun, playing tag or whatever, hide and seek. Like, there's nothing malicious or ill intent or nefarious or devilish about that, you know? So I appreciated that because I did know some children who were not even allowed to do that. You had to be like reading your Bible. Boo. You know what I'm saying? She also let me go to dances as long as they weren't past the time, which usually it wasn't. So I was able to go to school dances as long as I was home before sunset, you know. So winter dances was kind of like a no. But in the spring, summertime, I usually got to go to at least a couple. You know, so, you know, my mom wasn't so strict with the dress code. Actually, my mom bought me my first mini skirt, you know, above the knee, like at the thigh, you know, which was a big thing. Like, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mini skirt, but that was a mini skirt to the Seventh-day Adventist church. Like, you know, it wasn't at the knee, you know? So she was a little bit more liberal, I'll say that in that sense, but still very strict on the Sabbath, the rules, and in that aspect, she was very strict. You know, you're going to church if you live under my roof. type thing, you know? So I'll say that much. But I had always questioned it. Now, when I was about that same age range, like I'd say 25, 26, because it was before I had my daughter. I got pregnant when I was 28. So when I finally had, how I left Christianity behind and really just full throttle went into my spiritual journey was when I watched the Hidden Colored series. Now, I am no longer a fan of the person who does that documentary. I think, I think I got what I needed from that. You know what I'm saying? Which was that it exposed me to how, as a melanated being, how Christianity was exposed to us, to people like me. And that just kind of solidified it for me. Right? That's when I became free from that aspect. And I really went down some rabbit holes to find out who I am and who I want to be. And really just rebuild how I think completely. Because that's what the spiritual journey is all about. Right? Discovering who you are underneath everything everyone told you should and had to be. So that was the beginning for me. I watched that and I was just like, it didn't sit right with me. Worshiping a God that doesn't look like me. Worshiping a God that would allow me to go through such things just to discover him. Allowing my enemy, and not all non-melanated beings are my enemy, but I'm talking about in the sense of this is something that was indoctrinated into people like me, black people, melanated people, Moorish people, whatever you want to say, right? Whatever you want to label yourself as, right? Black people. It was indoctrinated in us during slavery when the unmelanated, right? When the Caucasian enslaved us. So our enemies gave us a religion. Why would I think that it was to do something of service to me when that has never been true in history? And I don't want to hear about it in the comments either. If you don't agree, well, I don't even know why you're watching this, to be honest. I'm going to get back on track though. Right? So that for me was a big deal. It was like a really big deal for me. Like, wow. Like, wow. Wow. Even the whole construct of the Bible, even realizing how much was removed from it, it just let me know that this isn't for me. And I never fit into those situations. I didn't fit in church. I've never been the type to fit in. I've always been very to myself a lot. Like I had a lot of friends, but maybe those friends weren't connected with each other. Most times, even now that's the case. I have a lot of friends, but they're not connected to each other. Like we're not like this group of friends. And I was even like that in high school. I was friends with a lot of different groups of people. I never really solidified myself in one pack, especially in my teens after I moved away from my hometown, right? So, and it was a form to protect myself, I think, right? And I think I still do that now because I had such a bad experience with that move. It was one of those traumatic things for me, right? But that was the beginning of my awakening. That's the beginning of how I really got into really awakening and starting the path to understanding who I am and why I have these thoughts and feelings. You know, realizing that I'm an empath. But that's just the beginning. That was the beginning of my story. It's just the beginning. And there's so much more to it, and it's so much more in depth. But now that I'm seeing how long this video is running, I kind of want to just stop here and do this as a part 1, right? Because it is the beginning. That is the beginning of my awakening, realizing who I am, where I'm from, what was done to me, right? And you may say, Dayna, you didn't live through slavery. You didn't live through those things. But no, I didn't. I didn't. You're right. I didn't live through those experiences, but I did too. I did too. Because amongst the things that I discovered astrology. I discovered magic. I discovered past lives. I discovered my astrological self. I discovered my spirit. And I discovered how disconnected I was from it, from her. And this whole journey has been leading me to reconnecting to her, even now. And even though I stand more in her now than I ever did before, that journey of getting there is something that I do want to share, right? But like I said, I don't want these videos to be too long. So I'm just going to cut this as part 1. And we'll continue. So I'll know where I want to go with this once I edit it as well. Because I'm going to be very honest, at this point, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just know that I have something to say. And I hope that you can respect that. You know, this is also the first vlog that I'm doing. I don't know if it's the first vlog that I'm going to post. But, you know, I'm getting ready to expose parts of myself so that I'm able to really be free. And that's what this channel is about. How I freed myself, and hopefully it will inspire you to free yourself too. Anyways, we'll talk soon. I love y'all, okay? Thank you so much if you're watching this video. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you know when I drop more content. I promise you there will be more content. I love y'all.